Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 10. So, we start the episode off with Anita coming down the stairs, and she's a little flustered, but she's just like, I'm gonna make it. So, she's coming down the stairs, and Vernon comes down, and he's just like, why did you take the elevator? Why are you coming down the stairs? And she's just like, I'm okay. I just wanted to change the scenery. She goes into the living room and he's like, okay, well, let me bring you some stuff so we can just chill together downstairs, just to get you your change of scenery. And as she's sitting down, or she sits down, and he's getting ready to, I think he's getting ready to get something. Samantha and Kat come over, and they just wanted to come and check on her. They didn't know if she would be asleep or not, because they know that this is the second day after chemo. So she's Vernon is about to tell him, this isn't a good time for a visit, but Anita is just like, no, 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 I want to see my baby. So she's, Kat asks, how's she doing? And she's just like, I'm doing good. And then Samantha is just like, oh, I just wanted to, see if we could talk about some cotillion stuff or whatever, or just wanted to show you some things or whatever. So they sit down with her, and they're talking about how they missed them. They're sad that they missed the Mardi Gras, and Vernon is just like, well, I still got some beads. They start talking about the cotillion, because Anita is just like, I know y'all didn't just come here just to talk about, me and chemo. Let's talk about something else. So Samantha starts showing her some ideas for the dress that she wants, or whatever, the dress that she wants to get or whatever. And Anita is looking at them. She's just like, oh, these are so pretty. And then she has like this far off look on her. And she talks about how that time that her and the Articulates performed at an after party for cotillionaires, or whatever you call them, and how she was so she admired the strength that she saw on all these ladies, and she was hoping that she could, when she has her family, that they would be able to do something like this, and she's so happy that her family is doing this. We see Bill and Danny hugging, and Hayley came in and said, what she said about Danny having her hands around her husband or whatever. So Bill is just like, that's not what it is. And Hayley was just like, Danny was just like, I was just coming to thank him for being there for us. And she was just like, oh yeah, I heard about it. That must suck. And aren't you happy that your girls can have someone to lean on, if worse comes to worse or whatever? And Danny was just like, you would like that, wouldn't you? And she was just like, well, that's not what I meant. And it was just like, girl, that is what you meant. So she was just like, basically saying, why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be like, why are you here in the middle of a work day? It must have been real important that you had to come. And Danny was just like, no, I just want to say thank you. And yeah, since it's a work day, I guess we can get back to work. And so Danny leaves, and Bill is just like, really? Like, no, Hayley was just like, that's the last time I'd be sympathetic to her. And then Bill was just like, it would only be sympathetic if you meant it. And she was just like, I didn't mean it. And he was just like, no, you didn't. Like, you didn't mean it. Like, quit lying. And it's just like, girl, you didn't mean it. Again, quit lying. Like, quit lying. So he was just like, she was like, don't you ever take a step back and look that you've never taken my side? And he was just like, does blowing up my marriage consider me taking her side? Does me divorcing her consider me taking her side? You already won the big prize, so why are you acting like this? And she's just like, she tries to apologize, and he was just like, yeah, basically, yeah, and I'm not about to hear that. Like, this is not funny. Like, there's nothing funny about what's going on between my kids and the mother of my child. Like, it's not funny that there's a possibility that they could get cancer. So you playing these games ain't what's up. And it's just like, I get you on that front, but the first half of what you said, Bill, she's not the one who blew up your marriage. You're the one who blew up your marriage. You are the one who decided to divorce your wife to be with a younger model. That wasn't Hayley's fault. Yes, Hayley is playing a con, so she conned you into this, but but you don't know that it's a con. So you decided to wreck your marriage and your life to be with another woman. That's not Hayley's fault. That's all on you. Even if she wasn't playing a con, that's still on you because you could have been strong enough to say no and not cheat on your wife, but that's not who you are. So now that you are regretting the decisions that you made, you're trying to throw it off on the new wife. And it's just like, that's not how that works, sir. It was you who did all of that. You're the one who made vows. Hayley ain't make no vows. Hayley is trifling, but she ain't make no vows. That's all on you. Sorry. So she again tries to apologize, and he's just like, um, we have dinner reservations. I don't want to be late. So he walks out, and she's just like, so these next two scenes, again, not even gonna lie to you, I don't care nothing about this. This next set of scenes that I'm about to talk about, so it's gonna be real quick. Jacob meets with Derek at the bar uptown, and he tells him about the double date that he went on with Ashley and her new date. They talk about him. They talk about the whole thing with what's going on with Naomi and her family, and how he doesn't know what's going on because Naomi's not really talking to him, and how he wants kids, and this just puts a dent in it. And he thought he didn't want it, but now for sure he knows that he does want it. So now they got some things to talk about. We then see Ashley flirting with Grayson at the elevator. Naomi comes off and he gets on. Naomi asks Ashley how it was. Ashley tells Naomi and Shanice about her night with Grayson and how it's better than what she had with Derek because he was mint chocolate chip and Grayson is raspberry sorbet or I don't know, whatever he was. Child. So they talk about that. Could care less. Then we see Derek go to the hospital and he sees Ashley and Grayson flirting. Yeah. So that was that. Um we see we get to Danny after she left Bill. She goes to her parents' house to go and check on them, and Vernon is like, he's really sad that Danny has to deal with this BRCA gene mutation, and she tells him that she's strong, and she's strong because of the way her parents raised her, and um and she's going to lean on everybody including Bill, and he understands that, and she understands that he doesn't like it, and he's just like, yeah, I don't like it because you really don't need to lean on him because your kids are grown, so it's just like, it's not like y'all have to co-parent. But she's just like, I get it, but yeah, I'm gonna lean on him, child, I guess. So they go into the living room, and they're talking about they're all talking about the cotillion or whatever and looking at the dress, and Anita stands up and she, like, she gets lightheaded or whatever, and then they notice it, and so Vernon is just like, you okay? And then she was just like, no, I think I overdid it. And she tells the girls, my husband was gonna tell y'all that this wasn't a good time, but I wanted to, you know I wasn't trying to listen, but I need to listen. And yeah, this wasn't a good time. Um, this is just a lesson for me to know that I need to listen to my body and not my mind. Like, basically, like, your body was telling you that you were tired. You knew you were tired walking down them steps, but you still tried to push through. But it's okay. Again, be selfish, like Bill told you. Be selfish, boo. So the girls, Samantha and Kat, they leave. Danny stays behind. She says she's gonna, she just was just making sure that they were okay. And she says, I'm making sure you're okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave. So she walks out and she gets a text from Chelsea telling her that the test results are in. Vernon and Anita are going upstairs, and she was just like, thank you, babe. Like, I'm gonna listen from now on. And he was just like, all right, let's take the elevators. And I was just like, I love it. They have elevators. So we also see Tyrell and Samantha, and they are at Orphe Jeans, and they're trying to order some food with June and Samantha. Not Samantha, Jessica. Tyrell and Jessica, sorry. And Jessica is she's talking like a snooty, uppity person, and June is just like, girl, what? And so Tyrell says, give us a moment. He talks to her and he asks her, did you call my grand? And she was just like, yeah, I called her, but she didn't return my call. But I understand because, she got a lot going on. Because, Nicole was drunk boots the night before. So of course she didn't respond. But so they're talking or whatever, and she's talking about how she since Nicole hasn't called her, this gives her more ammunition to not have to go to the meetings or the all this other stuff, so that way she can skip out on it and all this other stuff. And Tyrell is just like, I understand, you know, this is how you feel. Once this is over with, then we can get back to whatever. But I have to be there because Samantha really wants to go. She can't wait. My whole family, it's like a big thing for my whole family. So I'm going to be at the cotillion. And she was just like, great. Well, if that's the case, then since you have to be there, you can be my escort and I'll go. So they're excited about that. Now, I had to look up what the purpose and benefits were for a cotillion because I just didn't understand like why she was, because from what I always thought a cotillion was like, it was something that was beneficial, but the way that she's talking about it, it's just like, oh, it's just for uppity people to have a dinner and to dance. So I looked it up. So it says purpose and benefits for a cotillion. You learn etiquette and manners, teaches introductions, dining etiquette, polite conversation, dress code, and general decorum. It gives you social skill. It helps kids feel confident in social settings, navigate interactions, and build positive peer relationship. Dancing, it introduces you to formal ballroom steps like the waltz, often seen as a finale to the event. So as you learn all these things, you do the waltz, which builds poise and coordination and character. It aims to develop ethical qualities, respect, and positive behaviors, helping students become leaders. So, the purpose and benefits of being a part of a cotillion is way more than just uppity people. Like, just the fact that herself, Jessica, she needs to take these classes so that she could have polite conversations and she could have general decorum. Because, girl, you have no kind of like, I don't know what her issue is, but again, purposes of the cotillion don't seem like it's just about dancing. That's just the finale. That's like there's a whole set of things that happens before you get to that. So it's like all the stuff that you're learning leading up to that is stuff that would benefit you in everyday life, and depending on um what type of work you want to do when you get older, these are things that can benefit you. And it's just like, I'm gonna need her to, yeah, I'm gonna need her to talk to somebody or at least go to one class just to see, like, girl, why didn't her mama tell her what this was about? Like, I don't, child, I don't get it. But yeah, so what else? Oh, child. So we see Ted at his office and he's telling Eva about what's going on with the Duprees. Why he needed to tell her any of this beats me, but he does. So he tells her what's going on with the Duprees and how Nicole about the BRCA gene. He tells her all of that. Like he tells her all of that, and he tells her that Nicole tested negative or whatever, and he tells her that. And the first she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Dupree is going through this. Oh, how is Nicole?" He tells her she's negative, so that means that Kat and Martin are negative. They don't have to test or whatever. First thing that comes out of her mouth is, "I bet Kat was a handful." Why do you always have to disparage this girl when she doesn't think about you? And then Ted, for you to respond, "Yeah, she was," is also a slap in the face to Kat. Like, why would you? How was she a handful? She wasn't a handful to anybody. She said her piece. Y'all didn't want to listen to it. That's on y'all. Y'all are the handful. Like, miss me with that. So he explains, she was he says, like, she didn't want to take the test, but everybody else, she didn't want to take the test or whatever. And Eva's just like, if it were me, I would want to know so that I could stop, I could prevent it, or I could whatever, how people wanted to know, because they're saying if there was a possibility that it was, then I would want to know so that I could do whatever. And Ted was just like, "Yeah, that's how the whole family wanted it." And she was just like, "But you didn't talk her into it." And he was just like, "Yeah, because that would just push her away from taking it. I just needed to listen to her." Yeah, the only time that you listen to her, you don't get no pat on the back or kudos for that. Miss me with that. So they're talking, and she says something, and then in my notes I literally wrote, "Eva is a true only child. Everything is always about her," because she kept bringing it back to her. And I met some only children in my life where we will be talking about something or talking about me, and they would turn it around to talk about them because they're only children or whatever. I guess that's a child, I don't know. But yeah, so she's truly an only child. Everything is always about her. It has to come back to her. Like, "Oh, I would want to know." Who cares if you would want to know? That's you. Who cares? First of all, you shouldn't be hearing about any of this. But even if you did hear about it, no one cares what your thoughts were. All you needed to do is give your sorries, and that was it. No one needed your one two. We didn't need none of that. We didn't need it. So he tells her, like, "Oh, Kat's worried because she's waiting to get the results from about Naomi and Chelsea, especially Chelsea, because Chelsea's like a sister to her." And he was just like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to come out like that." And she was just like, "No, I understand. She grew up with her, so that is like her sister. So it is what it is." So then he says, she could use someone like you to reach out to her. And then she was Eva was just like, "You want me to reach out to her?" And he was just like, "You know what? Forget I even said that. After the way she treated you, you don't need to reach out to her." Ted, come to the front. Kat treated Eva the way she deserved to be treated because she was too timing. She was up to something. She was no good. She came into y'all's life under false pretenses, and your daughter saw through her. She didn't treat her no way that she didn't treat her any other way than how she deserved to be treated. Eva slept with her boyfriend, and y'all still are making it seem like Kat did her dirty. Kat talking about her, Kat ignoring her, Kat calling her out for the type of person that she is does not compare to her sleeping with her boyfriend as doing her dirty. Y'all need to miss me with that. So Eva says, I wouldn't be doing it for her. I would only do it for you. So we've already at this moment realized that if she does reaches out to Kat, it won't be sincere. She would only be doing it to make her dad happy. So guess what Eva does? Yeah. So we get to Orphe Jeans and we see Kat and Samantha, they come in and they're talking about Gran and how, they feel bad that they overstayed their welcome or whatever. Then they see Samantha and I'm sorry, they see Jessica and Tyrell and they said, "Oh, let's go sit with them." As they're going to sit with them, Eva taps Kat on the shoulder and she was just like, I guess I think she said, "Can we talk?" or something like that. I forgot what she said, but Kat was just like, okay. And so Samantha goes and sits with Jessica and Tyrell, and Jessica and Tyrell tell Samantha that Jessica is going to the cotillion because Tyrell is going to be her escort. And Samantha's just like, "Oh, okay, good. Okay." So we get back to Kat and Eva, and Eva tells Kat, I heard about what's going on with your family. Dad told me. And Kat says, "Yeah, it's not great. Is that it?" And Eva says, "No." She says, "I know that you're worried about your aunt and Naomi and especially Chelsea, and you guys are waiting on the test." And Kat's face softens like, okay. And Eva is like, "I just wanted to let you know that I'm here for you if you need me to lean on." And Kat is just like, "Are you done?" So then Kat says, okay, now it's my turn, basically. And she was just like, "Yeah, I don't believe that you mean this." And he was just like, "Well, I do." And she was just like, "Well, let me tell you, stay out of my business and stay out of my family." That's all that Kat said. And Eva reverted back to form and says, because Kat said, "I don't believe that you're sincere." She was just like, "I was." So when Kat tells her, "Stay out of my business and stay out of my family," Eva then proceeds to say, "I only did this because our dad told me to." So at this moment, you let her know that you, in fact, were not being sincere. So, yeah. And then she goes on to say, "You're going to need me. And after all the times that you told me to go to hell, I'm going to throw those words back at you, dad or not." And then walks out. And Kat was just like, "Okay." And then she walks away. Um, so the episode ended with Anita and Vernon going up to the elevator. So I had already talked about that. But I really wanted to talk about this scene because in this scene, this first of all pissed me off completely because Ted, again, you don't need to tell Eva by and also Leslie by way of Eva what's going on with the Duprees. They have nothing to do with that family. Eva is a Richardson. If it doesn't affect Andre, then Eva shouldn't know about it. I don't care if it even affected Martin and Kat. Eva still shouldn't have known about it just because of the way her mom did Nicole. Not even her mom, but both of you did Nicole. And what's been transpiring between between Leslie and Anita all this time. Like, Ted needs to separate that and leave them separated. If they find out by way of somebody else, cool. But you, Ted, you keep doing this, is just going to keep getting you in trouble with your daughter, because you know your daughters don't get along. Why you're forcing them to get along, especially after the fact, especially because Eva has yet to apologize to Kat for sleeping with Tomas. And I don't care if Kat is still with Tomas and he's the one who did X, Y, and Z. Yes, he is trash. As a Kat fan, I don't want her to be with Tomas. I have been screaming that from the rooftops since the moment he opened his big mouth and disparaged her to Eva. I have been saying I don't want her with him. So I don't care that it's, oh, well, she's still with him, so she can't be mad at Eva. Yes, she can be mad at Eva, because at least Tomas apologized. Yeah, he's still trash. She don't need to be with him because he's a cheater, pumpkin eater. She don't need to be with him, but he at least apologized. Eva has yet to apologize. She actually stood 10 toes down in sleeping with this man, threw back in this girl's face that she was inexperienced because she was a virgin, and has been talking disrespectful out the mouth towards Kat since their first meeting. Both of them have been at each other since their first meeting. So Eva, why you keep saying you're trying to build a sisterly relationship with Kat? You have not at one turn tried to build a sister relationship at Kat. I posted a tweet on my TikTok about from Era Jordy where she states, again, Eva, you knew who Kat was to you when you came into this situation. If you wanted to build a sisterly relationship with her, then you would have been moving completely different. You would have tried to forge some type of relationship with her prior to the anniversary party, but you didn't. You, in fact, kept going out of your way to disparage her. You kept going after her man when your mom, Leslie, of all people, initially told you to leave him alone because y'all came to town for a specific reason, but you still went out of your way to get his attention and start forging some type of relationship with him. So sorry, I'm so irritated. But Eva she wanted to build a relationship with Tomas and not her sister. But now she's going around telling everybody that she keeps trying to build a relationship, a sisterly relationship with with Kat. But you're not. You haven't. You call her a bitch at every turn. You disparage her to everybody at every turn. And then you want to turn around and act like you're the victim. You're not the victim. You are the villain in her story. You are the villain who came in and destroyed her parents' relationship. You are the villain who came in and slept with her boyfriend. You are not the victim. And there's nothing that they can do, that they can write, that will make me see her as the victim in Kat's story. Until she do right by Kat, she ain't a victim. And even in this instance, what you should have said was, I know what's going on. I'm sorry. You wanted to say something about the Chelsea thing. And when Kat told you, mind your business and stay out of my family, what you should have said was, again, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And whenever you want, I'm here, and dipped. But no, you again reverted back to form and reverted back to the villain that you are in her story and said what you said. And then what you're going to do is you're going to run to Ted and make it seem like Kat was rude and being mean to you. She wasn't. She told you to stay out of her business because guess what? You need to stay out of her business. Like I don't get it. But child, let me go. But that was the episode. Let's get down in the comments. Tell me how you guys felt about this episode. Tell me what y'all think between this Eva and Kat thing. At this point, honestly, I know it's a soap. I know that they need this friction, but I need them to, I feel like I just need a reset of the Eva character, honestly, because she legit lives and breathes Kat. Because I wanted to like her and Isaiah, but it's just like I don't see it. And hopefully they do something else than just them having the same conversation, sleeping with each other, and then debating on if they want to be a couple or not. Can we do something else? Let her, I don't know, like she can't even have like she can't even go on a double date with him and Naomi and Jacob because Jacob ain't seeing it for her. So it's just like, what are we gonna do with this? I need Kat and Eva to not have scenes with each other for some time, for a little bit of time, like maybe a month. I don't know, something, because every time I see them together, I get annoyed because Kat is always gonna look like the villain, and Eva will always play the victim, and it's tiring. It really is tiring because it's like I'm gonna need other people to see that they both give it as good as they get. Like every time they get into it, Eva will say, Kat will give it as good as she can get. Eva will give it as good as she can get. But they only ever see it when Kat is the one who's given as good as she can get. They never see when Eva does it. And then when they do see it, Chelsea and Tomas, they just sit back and let it happen. And then they chastise Kat for the way that Eva spoke to her. But then they'll chastise Kat for the way she speaks to Eva. And it's not balanced. And that's why it's annoying, because it's just like, it's not right. But yeah, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications. Again, get down in them comments. Let me know what you guys thought, and I will see you guys in the next one.